Hello and welcome to episode 18 of my Ultimate Feed the Beast Let's Play. This is Akko here. What we're going to do today, well, let's have a look at the board. I think we left the last episode looking at the board. Just going to go through it again. Ongoing farm crafting bees. I've been doing some of that off camera. DNA, gene tank, gene pool, DNA tank and stuff. Can BC power keep up? Well, yes it can now. I'm going to show you for why in a minute. We can get rid of that. And quarry, workout sorting before ME and ME and processing. So sorting and processing, we're going to get on with that. I've got some stuff in my inventory ready to go for that. I'm just going to show you quickly what I've done with the farm crafting the bees, just so you're up to speed. I've done quite a bit off camera actually between this and last episode. I did a bit of research. I researched a couple of things. I don't know if I've shown you, but I love the bookcase up there. I think I mention it every time I look at it. Researched the rest of the wands, researched the sword of the Zephyr, and I had the shovel the earth mover research. So I made both of them and got them enchanted. I only got knocked back on the sword there, so I had a repair 2 book, so I used that on it. So that's got repair on it now, so that will always repair itself using the aura. And I had a sharpness 3 book, so that's on there. So hopefully I can up that to sharpness 5 at some point, and it'll be a bit of a mean killing machine. Get fire aspects on there as well if I can. And looting, I guess, if I get lucky enough to get a looting book. So at some point soon I'm going to probably make a stack of books and go enchant 64 books down in the XP grinder. See what I get. The shovel I got unbreaking on it again, so I can't put repair on that because it's got unbreaking on it, unfortunately. But it's still an awesome shovel. The shovel is quite dangerous. The extra thing the sword's got is if you right click, you can block projectiles and you can blow mobs away from you. The shovel, my jetpack's not turned on, does 3x3. So that's just doing the top layer because the way I'm aiming it, but if I was aiming down, you can do a lot of damage. You've got to be pretty careful when you're using one of these. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So I was hopefully, I mean, the end game, if you will, for these is to have repair on them all, so then they never wear out. So I'll chuck that in there. I had a relay here, spitting things in there, but I brought the relay and it sucked the relay up. So I made another one, and I did it again. So I've lost two relays up there. So at the minute, I've got a tesseract that's going to be feeding in, and I'm going to show you where that's feeding in for a minute. We're going to build that. So that's the farm craft that I've done. The other thing with the farm craft is I've not made a tallow golems yet. You can get tallow golems that can keep your crucible filled and empty your alembics. You can empty them into jars, but I've been doing that manually at the minute because I've been putting certain things into jars as I need them to craft. But I've just been putting the spare aspects into here. I think I might actually not bother with jars on this server. Jars are pretty cool, but it works just as good out of here. You just need some empty jars so you can. So, for example, if I was making something that required a beastia, I can take the beastia out. I can either throw that aspect vial straight into the crucible there, or I can just put the aspect vial in there, and then it's got beastia available to the infuser. So I've been doing like that for now. I may put it onto jars at some point. Come over here. I've done quite a bit of stuff with bees. So I'll come over here. I never mentioned this. This has been in the corner for a few days. I need some feathers, so I put some seeds in there. So I can get feathers on demand. I've actually made a chicken shard, so I'm going to get rid of a few of these chickens. So you need a couple left in here. And there's something with a sheep. There's one in there, yeah. Look at him, just see its beak. So this little contraption in the corner here, it's been here a few days and I've never actually mentioned it. It's basically automated wool gathering machine. That's all that is. I don't know if anyone's actually noticed it in the background there, but I'll just run through what it does real quick in a second. Right, 2 chickens, that's what we want. So this thing here, pretty straightforward. As I said, it's a deployer at the bottom, and the deployer, you put a pair of shears in there, but the shears have worn out. It's got a transposer on the top, and then just timer set to a minute, and a bit of redstone tube there. The jacketed wire connects to the deployer as well, so that pulses once a minute. All it does is, when there's some shears in there, you get 200 uses on a pair of shears, but it's actually worn out now, so they've gone. When it pulses, it just trims the wool off the sheep. You can see it's picked up a few eggs because the eggs have been in the range of the transposer, but all that wool has come from that one sheep and from one pair of shears. Because that's all I put in there. So good way of getting a bit of wool, because wool comes in useful for a lot of stuff. You can, on the other server, on the main server, I've actually got 16 of these set up, one for each colour. But I noticed on this, with a minium stone, you can just cycle through the wool colours, so you can actually specifically change wool to any colour using a minium stone. So I didn't bother doing more than one colour. Just left one there. Now I'm just going to get rid of some stuff here. I want to get them in there. Chicken feathers. Okay, that'll do for now. So onto the bees. I bred up the. Well, I made some machines. I moved my bee stuff over here. This was all down here. Nothing's automated yet still, unfortunately. So I was centrifuging things in there. This is my seed oil squeezer, so I can make impregnated frames. And then this is my honey squeezer, so I can make scented paneling to make more alvearies. And then I've made the genetic machines here. And I made a gene pool, so all of the spare bees now I'm getting thrown in there, of which I ain't got a great deal, but yeah, I'm out of spare bees at the minute. I did it just before I started filming. Now I've only made a real small tank. It's just 48 buckets tank, so it's not real big. On the other side, there's 2 ways you can go with this. You can either make big tanks for everything, or you can make small amount of storage. Now on my other server I've got a full tank of DNA with like 1,000 buckets or something in it, and I'm never going to use it. So on this server I thought, let's make a little tank. Probably don't even need that, to be honest. I could have just made a couple more of these things. These are from thermal expansion. These are real nice because you can just pop them off with a shift right click of your Omni wrench, and they keep the liquid in there. These all up to 8 buckets worth. So you can just put them where you need them. So these 2 machines are the only ones that use the DNA. And then whenever I want to refill one of these little tanks here, I just put that on there, switch that so it exits, and there it is, it's filled up. Look. So I can change that back, pop that back off, and put it back over here. Now, and these use DNA, but they don't use a massive amount, so that'll last me quite a while. So I've been doing it like that. It's working well enough. I've got a couple of trait changing things there, but I've not really been actually making it all. What you've got to do, you've got to fill it up using a synthesizer, which is that machine. No, it's not that one. That fills the charges up to 16 on your serum, and then that one purifies it up so it's excellent quality, and that's when you can use it. So see, I've made all these species, and I've been running them through the thing that you get the serums from, the isolator. So I've got a serum for each of these. So what I can do now is I can get any princess. I can just use the serum to change the princess into one of these breeds. So if I need, for example, majestic and noble to, well, majestic and noble actually creates an imperial, but if I need something more obscure to make a different breed, I can just get a rocky princess or whatever, and then use the serum to change it into a majestic princess, and then I've got the breeding pair I need to breed. And the only trait things I've got up to now: shortest lifespan, which is good for breeding; maximum fertility, which is good for getting extra drones; and fast productivity, which it'll do for now, but once I've got the aura bee from Thamcraft, I'll get fastest productivity, and I'll change my bees to that. See, I've made some bees here down the oily bee path, and I've got to the refined species. So remember, I had cultivated, industrious, imperial, and now on the end there I've got refined. So that's started making me oily combs and petroleum combs. Now I've not started processing these properly yet. I've got a little bit of oily propolis and petroleum propolis, so I need to set that up into a squeezer, then into a refinery, and that up into a squeezer, into a tank, and from the refinery to the same tank. So I should start getting a petrol tank, which I'm probably going to put here somewhere, and then we can start running this steam boiler. I've changed the fireboxes for liquid, but I'm not putting nothing in it yet. There's water going in, but I don't know why I've got an item tester right there, because I don't need that anymore. I can take that. It's liquid now. So once we've got a tank full of fuel, I'm going to wait until I get a full tank and start running that, and then we can take all this off the EU power onto Buildcraft power. So what have I done with that? As I said I was going to do, I've expanded the lava station output into 9 RegTech thermal generators. So there's 9 there now, and they all feed 1 MFSU, and that MFSU is staying full. So that's getting 9 times 24, so 220-ish, 216. I've got it feeding. I could have made a high voltage consumer, but I've still just got the medium voltage consumer there, so I've got a medium voltage transformer. Medium voltage transformer that way, then a low, so it's just running my induction furnace. And then I've moved the ME network down here, so that's just all in a row now. There's actually no pipes connecting that, but we will be using the pipes later. You can see there the stack is full, the ME drive. So once I started quarrying, I started getting a bit more quartz crystal and quartz dust, which is what I was lacking to make the rest of them. So now that's all full, and I've got quite a lot of capacity in there. You see the top 4 pretty much full, 5th one's about a third full, and then all the rest are empty. So I've got loads of capacity in there, and it looks a mess. It's real untidy in there. I'm going to start sorting that out. I might do that in this episode as well. Someone mentioned a comment which is pretty useful. You can just search in there, so you can narrow it down. So if I wanted redstone, there you go. Or obviously you can search for anything that you've got in there. So there's my types of quartz, the applied energistics quartz, and then that's the Zycraft quartz. So that's pretty cool. And I think we're about done. The breeding. So this is my breeding alveoli. This is what I have on the other server. 2 mutator blocks is what I've got to now, and it's quite expensive to breed this way because you get the mutator blocks. You can put things in that improve the chance of breeding. So for example, if we look in the data bank here, when I bred the refined bee, it's got an 8% chance. Put an oily and a distilled in there, you get an 8% chance. So what I did was I made an ender eye, which multiplies that chance by 4, and I used, I didn't really like to, but I used a piece of uranium ore, which multiplies that by 8. So that gets it over 100%. So you get a guaranteed result from the bee breeding. So it saves messing about. It costs you materials, but it saves messing about. So I think the cost's worth it, even using the uranium, because at some point I'm going to make an uranium bee, a nuclear bee which produces uranium. So I won't have later on I won't have no trouble for getting that. So I thought I might as well use a little bit now to speed things up. So let's get on with what we're going to do in the episode now. You're not invited, sir. Please leave the premises. Thank you very much. And right, so what we've got here is, this is what we had set up over there. Just the tesseract coming from the quarry, and I had a crystal chest, but now I've just got a ender chest there because I want to make an ender pouch so I can throw things straight into this system. I made a sorting machine, which is a red power item. Pretty straightforward filter some doped wafers, bit of metal and a blue alloy ingot. So what we do is place that badly, so I need my screwdriver. Our filter goes, our sorter goes there. So the little end goes away from the chest. And we need to power that, so because I've got a glass roof, the simplest way of doing that is just bang a solar panel on top there. And a solar panel will take a little while to charge it up, but once it's charged, that'll provide enough power to keep it going forever during the night and stuff. That's fine. You don't actually need a battery box or anything. You can have a battery box to make it a bit safer if you wish, but that's fine. At some point on this chest, when we've got our target gates, I'll be putting a little overflow system that cuts the power if this chest gets full. Which you may see, I've done a little video on that on the other server. It's just useful to stop your quarry if things get backed up for any reason. At the minute the quarry's turned off, I just cut the power there. For now, just while I build this, because I don't want that chest overflowing. Don't know if I fully explained myself there, did I? Yeah, I think I did. I just got the buildcraft power going that way for now. And then once this steam boiler's up and running, I'll get rid of this and just run it off the steam boiler. Anyway, back onto this. A couple of things you need here. Is the way I'm doing it all through tesseracts. So we need to pipe 2 of the tesseracts. So I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4 down at the minute. Yep, 4. And we need some tubes to get to them. Now, the problem with the tubes is they're all going to join. But that's no worries because of the way we set this thing up. Now, there's certain settings with this. You can cycle through them here. What that would do, that would put anything into any colour we set, and one at a time put anything extra into what we set here. But if you do 2 more, that'll put full stacks into what we set here. So I think I'm better off just showing you that rather than explaining it. So I'm going to put that to white. Now, I generally just do these in the colour order. So white's the way the colours are worked in this game. It's the binary. So white's 1, orange is 2, magenta's 4 because it's binary, light blue's 8, and so on. So them's the 4 colours we're going to need to start with. So we've got 4 outputs from the sorting machine, and the way we're going to do it, yep, that's good. And all I need to do now is switch this onto its auto pull mode. It'll start pulling things out of there, but we've got nothing specified in here yet, so it's just going to pull anything to white, and we've got nowhere for it to go yet. See, these don't connect because the tesseracts are not set up yet. So we need to set these up, and we need to give these tubes colours so that the stuff knows where to go. So I've made another bag here with paints in it. Now, paint's pretty straightforward. Run through that real quick. Paint cans are made using tin plates. Tin plates are made in a alloy furnace. It's just a combination of tin and iron. So I generally put 7 tin, 14 iron, and that gets me enough for 12 paint cans. Paint brushes, very similar, very cheap and easy again, just a bit of wool and a stick. And then to actually make a colour, you need to mix it with flaxseed. So I'll make a colour real quick. So our next colour on the path, let me get my dyes bag. So what's next after light blue? Yellow. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of that because I don't need that yet. Oops. The yellow's gone on there. There we go. So the next colour along will be yellow, so I'll use yellow. So 2 bits of flaxseed, your paint can, and your dye gets you your paint. And then we need a paintbrush. Your paint and your paintbrush gets to your coloured paintbrush. So that's pretty straightforward. And now they can go there, and I've got an extra colour. I'm going to need these 4 paintbrushes. And what happens when you paint, a LAN is, the first one won't make a difference, but once I paint the second LAN there, you see because them lines are painted, they no longer connect. So that's how you get your stuff to go different routes using pneumatic tubes. You paint the lines, then you restrict what can go to each line. So there we go. So now we've got 4 outputs from our sorting machine, and we need to work out where they're going. So our first one here is what we've got is leftovers. So pretty much I want anything that I don't specify to go into the ME network, to go into this chest here, to go into this tesseract, which puts things through this interface into the ME network. So ME in, that's what that's called. So this first tesseract here, we're going to call ME in. I'm going to do my usual disabling of that. I'm going to set that to send only, because I only want things to get sent to ME in there. So that's that, and now you see, now because that's got a valid place to connect to, the tube's actually connected, which is a nice little feature, I think. So you can see at a glance if you've done something wrong because your tubes aren't connected. So there we go, and then our second one I think we'll have as our void pipe. If you're looking here, this one's just called void, frequency 4. So what I'm going to do is get this frequency 4, oops, and again change this to send only. There we go. So that's our void pipe. So now we need to actually specify what can go to frequency 4. Now we're probably going to end up with a lot of stuff getting voided. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to have 4 of them, and then our next thing is going to be our ores. So I'm actually going to have 2 of them, and then blue is either going to be specific ore that goes to the smelter with a rich slag, or it's going to be the induction furnace, which is things like the Zycraft blocks and other stuff that needs furnacing but doesn't need processing further than that. But I'll leave the blue for now. I'll just put them for now. So everything that goes in the orange lines is going to go straight to void. So let's have a look in here. I've got some stuff in here that we're going to want to void. Dirt, cobble, sticks. There's certain things in here because I've quarried a twilight forest place. There's stuff that's not going to be in an overworld, but I'm going to want to get rid of anyway. So you can put these in here, then you can take them back out if you run out of room. So basically, do we have any gravel in there as well? Yep, we did. We'll get rid of gravel, because we produce gravel as a byproduct from pulverizing cobble into sand, so we don't actually need a source of that. So anything that I can get from my system over there, we don't actually need. So I can get free cobble from anywhere. I've got enough marble. You can always take this back out if you want to get a bit more, but I've got nearly a full barrel of marble and marble brick. I've put aside a barrel of dirt if I need it. So I can produce cobble, I can produce gravel, I can produce stone and stone brick and sand, so I don't actually need to save any of them from the quarry. It actually makes it easy just to bin it all and then produce it as you need it. So that's I think all we need in there for now. And our third one is, as I mentioned, you see I've got a tesseract up there, but that's not going anywhere yet. I can take that back off for now. Our third one's going to this little system here. Now this little system is a little enclosed processing system. What it does is, on the end there's an igneous extruder which just produces cobblestone. And cobblestone doesn't cost anything, so once you've filled these up you never have to input anything into there, so that'll just produce cobble all day. Goes into a pulverizer which turns that into sand and puts the sand into this induction smelter. It also produces gravel as a byproduct, so you need a second pulverizer. Well, you don't need it, but you need somewhere for this gravel to go. So I pulverize the gravel into flint, and then under there I've got a tesseract that just goes to the ME network. I think I'm going to change this for an ME bus, but I haven't worked out what to do with that yet, but that's something we can look at. I think an ME bus fastened to here will just put things straight into the ME network, but I need to put ME tubes and stuff for that. So the output from this smelter is the stuff that gets made into ingots goes downwards, so that goes into a tesseract as well. And the extra stuff here, which is rich slag, goes to the right, which goes into this induction smelter. So the rich slag comes into that slot, and then because copper is the ore that you end up with least of, because it's only at a certain level, I've been making copper using the rich slag, and that gets you 3 per time instead of 2. So I'm getting extra copper from each of my bits of copper. Because of that, I've got a bit of a backlog of copper ore, but it's not a big deal. That's cool. And red goes to the bottom, so we get rid of that. And I also want that to go at the bottom, so I actually want that to be orange. So you see there, that's ejecting to the bottom, just into that gold transport pipe, which is feeding into the tesseract. So now you should see that slag there, that was in there, is going to here. There you go. There's the slag going into the ME network. So that's nice and tidy, a bit pipeless, just using a tesseract. So that's our processing system. So most of our ores want to come into this induction smelter through this hopper. I've got a hopper here as a bit of a buffer. I usually use relays for this, but I thought I'd use hoppers for a change. Hoppers are pretty straightforward. I don't know if I showed you how to make them, but basically it's a gear, a chest and some iron, and whatever gets put in there will get automatically ejected out the bottom. You can only face in one direction. They'll only put things into what's underneath them, so you have to be aware of that. If you've got a different kind of setup where you need to put things in from the side, you're better off using relays, I think. So what we're going to do here, on top of there, we're going to bang a item tesseract. Now I've got a channel for this already, it's called ore in. Let's set that to ore in, turn that off, and set that to receive. So we're good there, that's all set up. Now we need the corresponding one on our magenta line here. Ore in, disable and send only. That's that set up, and now we need to specify what goes into there. And you can see I've actually got the things in here that I want to be sent to that. Those 5. So those 5 just go into the magenta line. Now I've given it 2 magenta lines because you end up with more than 5 things that you want to be sending to your ore processing. There's a couple of other things that can go in there as well, I think. Where is he? I'll see. So tin ore, iron ore, gold ore, silver ore, lead ore, they're going to there, and I think that's all we need to do for now. So the next expansions, yeah, in fact, let's do our, I've got no exit on this yet, so things are going to get jammed up in here. So we can do the ME network onto that, right. Get away, spider. So now I think we can start this up. So all you need to do to start it up is switch that to the one with little circles around it, and that'll automatically pull stuff. So you can see there, the stuff in the chest, which there wasn't much of, most of it got sent to the void, and a bit of it, which I think was a bit of bauxite ore, got sent into the ME system there. So I'm not processing bauxite ore yet, because I'm going to do that through an industrial grinder when I made one. So we can turn the quarry back on, like so. I've got this set pretty low. It's inputting 20, it's only outputting 10, so my quarry's only getting 7.5 NJ a tick, so it's not running particularly quick, but it is running. You'll see we're going to be getting cobblestone at the minute, and most of that's going straight to the void. Well, all the cobble's going straight to the void, and then whenever we get something different, something that needs processing, it's going to go straight to the processing. Something that's got nowhere else to go is going to go straight into the ME network. And let's set this up. So we'll call this furnace in, so we need a new channel. and number 6, and we want that to receive. Yep, that's all good. And we're going to want some things to go into that, just so it knows where to send stuff. So, for example, these zichlorite, zirconium, I always call that zichlorite, zirconium, innit? These can go in there. So, how many colours of that we've got? I think we've only got a little bit at the minute. There should be 3 more colours. There's black, there's white, and there should be green. We've got any green? Alright, we've got no green at the minute. That's no big deal. So, what we can do is set this line to blue. We can add them to there. And there's some green. Just went into the ME network, so I'll grab a green. There we go. And other things that can go straight into the furnace: aluminium ore and quicksilver. What's quicksilver called? Cinnabar. There we go. They can go straight in there as well. There's the green. So we need. They can go in there, and then set this to our furnace in. We'll change our settings on there. Send only. There we go. So now they're going to go straight into there. The problem we've got is we've got nowhere for them to go yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a ME export bus, I think it's called, and put some wires under here, some ME wires. Put that back into there, but I'm going to get that made off camera, just so the episode doesn't run too long. And we'll sort out a way of getting this stuff that's getting put in the furnace back into the ME network. Now, the reason why I like the aluminium, by the way, is I process it into the aluminium and then make it into blocks, because it's quite a nice looking block for building walls and stuff out of. I quite like the look of it. So rather than just bin it, I just put it into blocks. But it's not got a massive amount of use other than that yet, I don't think. Yeah, it looks alright, so I keep it. Right, for now though, I'll have to keep an eye on this, because if that jams up, it's going to back the system up. So I shall be back in a bit with the next bit of the ME network to work out. And I'm back again. It seems like I can talk for days, because the video is already over 30 minutes, so I'm going to be wrapping up in a sec. What I've made off camera is I already had some ME pipes, so I've run them from the controller underneath across to here, and in my inventory you can see I'm making this thing, an ME export bus, which is an interface, a cable, some other stuff. The interface, pretty straightforward, just needs a conversion matrix, which you'll make a lot of. So we can make this. I say so too much, I've realised. I need to stop saying that quite so much. And then I believe if I click that to there, like so, that should well, it's not pulling stuff out of there, is it? So what am I doing wrong here? Do I need to specify things for it to pull out? Let's have a look. Oh, it's putting things in. Well, that's wrong, isn't it? Don't want to put things in. Interesting that I can put things into the export part of the thing then. ME export bus. So okay, I can't connect it to that, I actually have to connect it to the item. I think I made the wrong thing there. I'm going to investigate off camera, and I'll show you at the start of the next episode, because that certainly wasn't working correctly. So it's alright, it's exporting from the system, of course it is. So I need an import bus so I can import into the system. Let's quickly see how we make that. Oh, it's just the same with a sticky piston. Okay, back in 1 sec. Let's just run this a little bit long and let's sort this out. And back again with a ME import bus. So same recipe with a sticky piston. A little tip: if you've got no slam, you can use sticky resin on a piston to make a sticky piston. So I just had to run across there to the rubber trees, grab a bit of sticky resin to make this. Now, there we go. That seems to be working. It's definitely going somewhere. And let's hope they're going in there. So what have we got that I can put in there? Well, everything's going to go straight in there, so once we see something going that way. Yep, that seems to work. So I just got the wrong thing there. So that's how you can get your stuff into your network from your machines. So in theory you can have them on the output. So off camera I'll probably run some of this ME cable under the floor here and attach it to these guys as well, just because I want to do it all off the ME network, and I want to grow the network so it can control everything. So I'll probably do that. So thank you very much for watching. I hope it was entertaining. I didn't babble too long, I wasn't too boring, and I hope you will join me next time. So cheers, bye.